And welcome into Under Review. Normally, this is a show that talks about Colorado sports with a sprinkling of national sports as well. But obviously, today we have Jennifer Matthews Lewis, who you know from a lot of our sideline sports shows. She's on the Confidential with me, the NFL Carousel, as well as Three Chicks in a Pod.
Yeah, just a little busy, including the NBA carousel. Yeah, you named it. Pundit. I am the producer for Basket Bros, as well as I'm doing a show off of Sideline Sports with Mr. Scott Morganroth, called the Inside the Pigskin, and we also have Steve Bersetti, who is a beat writer for the New England Patriots and hosts two podcasts of his own. And Mr. Melfar Jr., several of you guys may remember him from his time in the NFL as well. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, she does a lot of good work on our shows. I definitely try to recommend everyone watch Three Chicks in a Pod. It's our only female show with obviously Jennifer, Miss Megan Price, who is the Queen of Hoops, and Carrie Johnson, who, if you guys know Carrie, me and her don't get along with sports because she's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm a Broncos fan, but it's a great show, very interactive, lots of female topics, as well as just a sprinkling of national sports. It's very entertaining and informative. But I got her on today to talk a little bit about the NFL. As you and I know, we can both overreact to the first game of the season. NFL is a week-to-week league, as we all know. I've overreacted all week to my team. I haven't heard you really totally overreact about your game that you went to. Unfortunately, you guys probably should have won that game, but we'll get to that in a minute. But it's more like, what was the most surprising outcome in the NFL in week one? We can overreact to this, but honestly, to me, at the games that I saw, I was really kind of impressed with the Chicago Bears. Here's why. You take the San Francisco 49ers, they're a team that was supposed to be in the NFC Championship game last year, or they were in the NFC Championship game last year. They were in it. They were supposed to go far this year. They have Trey Lance. And the Bears, and for all those that know Jacob Krishner, he's our Chicago Bears guy. He loves the Bears, talks all kinds of stuff about them on our shows. But they ended up winning 19-10. And the thing that really struck me was 8 of 17 passing by Justin Fields for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. If you look at those numbers, you're not supposed to win those games, but they ended up winning this game. But the interesting thing is when I was on Couch Coach, Chris's show, who's also on our NBA Carousel, I told him, the Broncos are going to be 2-0, and so will the 49ers when they meet on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, I was totally wrong. I jinxed both teams.
So, okay, I'm going to give you my opinion on your team. No one knows Russell Wilson better than Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll knows what Russell Wilson's going to do before Russell knows what he's going to do. Okay? That's his job. He coached him. He taught him. He took him from a solid college player to who he is in the NFL. Okay? No one knows him better than Pete Carroll. Top of that, you got the defense. No other defense is going to know you as well as your own, except for the Carolina Panthers, because the Panthers really could kill the Seahawks. Just saying. That being said, I wasn't surprised because first game with a brand new team, right? You're going home. You're getting booed because the Seahawks failed to remember the reason Russell left is because Pete Carroll and the front office wouldn't give him the help he needed. So that's what happened. Now, you and I talked in the offseason. The Broncos are going to struggle a little bit this year, but it's going to be because they're gelling. They're coming together, new coach, new ownership, new everything. And it's going to be more kismet for you guys because it will end up just working out better, boding well. It's just going to end up better for you guys in the long run. I can see you guys doing a little better than people expect this season. I see you guys doing better next year, and I can see you guys doing a Super Bowl run again in 3 years. That's what I can see. But you guys gave the house up for Russ. So that's just my opinion. But you're going to do better than you expect. And again, the first game at his home, where he probably still has properties, not the big old mansion, but I'm pretty sure his mom and Sierra's mom still live in Seattle. Just saying.
That's probably true, but that honestly is my most disappointing outcome of week one was actually our game. The reason why is you just pointed out Russ was going home.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that really irritated me, and honestly, I love Coach Hackett, or at least I did. I think the honeymoon is now over in Denver because of the fact that he's a rookie head coach. These are also, you look at his coordinators, they're all new coordinators who've never been in that position.
That's worrisome.
And what bothered me is we didn't get any snaps with our first team offense in training camp. In fact, preseason. We got a bunch in training camp. The thing that bugged the heck out of me is Nathaniel Hackett, and we know these preseason games are more revenue for the NFL, but it was more like he didn't care about the preseason. Oh, they're just going to gel in the first game. And I'm sitting there going, you need to have Russell Wilson in a new system, understand what's going on. The reason why it's one of the most disappointing outcomes in week one, look at the time management. We let it was a minute left and we bleeded it down to 20 seconds left, all because we wanted to try a 64-yard field goal. I'm a little confused. And you know me, I've been talking about this the whole week. I look at these percentages of, I think it was 60% that Russell Wilson in his career, when it was 4th and 5 and less, would make it. 40% if it's 4th and 5 or more. 6% of a field goal in the last 30 years that are made from 64 yards. Take those percentages. What should you have done? I would have gambled. The reason why I would have gambled with a 4th down is even if you didn't get it, at least you tried. You don't have a chance with a 64-yard field goal. I was so upset watching my team kick a 64-yard field goal. I didn't understand the thinking.
Well, and I think Dom said it great last night in the chat on Inside the Pigskin. Dom said he has the leg for it. He didn't have the accuracy for it. And I can't disagree with that. But Hackett has come out and said that was a big mistake and he shouldn't have done that.
My big issue with it is if that's what you were really going to do, then why'd you try to go down the field so quickly and then waste the time?
Well, yeah, you wasted Russell Wilson's arm and his energy.
It made no sense to me. But I know the game, yes, the game ultimately came down to that, but I go to the red zone woes. I know you and I are on the NFL carousel. I said that the Broncos were 0-4 in the red zone. We saw 2 fumbles. Cannot happen. I know the first one I totally criticized Melvin Gordon. If you guys don't know how critical I am of him, I have talked about him in the past on Under Review, as well as the my podcast that I have on sports-scoop.com, just saying, why did we bring him back? Because he's a fumble machine. He doesn't protect the ball. The second fumble, Javonte Williams, it really looked like they needed the preseason games because he went right into his offensive lineman, and that caused him to lose concentration and a fumble. You just can't have fumbles in that. Yeah, I know it's week one, but if you look at those 2 turnovers, we should have won the game. And then there was a toe tap by one of our tight ends that by a hair he was out of bounds. That's a touchdown. We win the game.
So honestly, I will excuse Russell because, quite frankly, Hackett's going to do well because he's going to end up letting Russell do what Tom Brady does. So, and that is coach the offense. So that being said, the offense needs to shut up and listen to Russell, and especially when they're playing. I know we disagree on preseason. To me, the importance of preseason, and I will say we agree on this thing, he needed to have Russell play some preseason.
Oh, 100%.
Preseason isn't just money generating because you have to have, especially your rookies, used to playing in front of that large of a crowd. There's college crowds, and some of them can be ginormous. Then there's the NFL and the stadiums there.
I 100% agree, especially since this is a rookie head coach and Russ is in a new system. It would have been nice to see what he could do for a few drives, get some sea legs under him. I know, what was it when the Broncos played Buffalo? Buffalo played Josh Allen. I think it was the only action he saw. I know it's preseason, but it was the only action he saw, and it was like 2 drives. And look at what he did in week 1. I think there's something to be said, especially in the preseason. And even the Broncos players were saying, yeah, we probably should have had played in the preseason. I know hindsight's 50-50 or 20-20,
Right.
sorry, not 50-50.
But I mean, honestly, give it a little time. Sorry, my lips are dry.
Oh, it's totally fine. It's almost that time of year where things are going to be dry. I mean, we are in that time of year.
Exactly. So I really do think you guys are going to do better than you anticipate. The rookie assistant coaches give me pause for you guys. Sorry, love that life. Know it pretty well. So best of luck with the rookies. Hopefully they work together as a team. Hopefully Hackett does something that Rule did not do, which is pull in a head coach assistant. He could call John Fox, Dom Capers. He could call any of those guys, any of the former head coaches that are sitting on the sidelines, and do it. Because I know other coaches have it. Belichick has one. Ron Rivera has one. I mean, there ain't no shame in your game in having that. Like, there's just not. But my game was the first 3 quarters. If you get a chance to go watch the first 3 quarters, you now know what my brain looks like on any given day. Okay, Jordan, because it was the most ADHD game of football I have ever seen in my entire life. I said this on the NFL carousel last night, and I'll say it again. What did propel us, keep pounding, is very integral to the Carolina Panthers. Those 2 words, that small phrase, that seeped into our city, that seeped into our culture, that seeped into the Metrolina area, that seeped into the Carolinas, Virginia, and Georgia, that seeped into us. When I have gone through some of the most trying situations in my life, I'm just like, keep pounding, keep pounding, keep pounding. There's a reason Sam Mills was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame. He gave us our culture. Matt Rule is trying to get rid of it. That being said, I'm not going to knock him. When I guess Tepper or Federer overruled whomever did and started saying, we're bringing back keep pounding, they brought it 4 times on Sunday. One at the beginning of the game, one time in the third quarter. That's when we got field goal. And then when we got the touchdown and we got another field goal in the fourth quarter, they brought it back both times. We had a very, 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 very obnoxious, horrible, atrocious call that the NFL referee union has now said, hey, that was the wrong call. That did cost us the game. However, based on the first 3 quarters, as a Panther fan, as someone watching the Browns, neither team deserved to win. Like, it was a bad game. It was atrocious. Like, at one point, I started laughing. My dad looked at me and goes, what's so funny? And my best friend James was with us. They're like, what's so funny? I was like, I have to laugh or I will cry at how bad this is.
I've been to games like that. I've seen them on TV. All I saw was just obviously the box score. And I really thought you guys were going to win that game. But you guys found a way to lose. And I mean, it's week 1. I'm not too concerned about you guys right now.
Here's the thing. Same thing with Baker. And I'm sorry to cut you off. Baker was playing against his old team, his old coach. Nobody's going to know you better.
Exactly.
And once Baker threw that interception, he calmed down. So I kind of wish he had thrown that interception in the first quarter. Because after that, he was good.
The thing about Baker Mayfield, and I've even pointed this out on a lot of my shows on the Sideline Sports Network, or at least I should say under review, is when you guys did make the trade, the thing that I was concerned about with Baker Mayfield was the turnovers. If he can cut those down, you guys will be fine. And I think, honestly, it's one game. I'm not getting too high or too low on any of this. I mean, you guys will be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. You know my end goal. I've been told I was a Fairweather fan. I just want the best for my team. I really don't think certain people are it. I'll say that. I will say for me, going back to the most surprising game of the week, for me it was the Colts versus the Texans because I truly expected the Colts to whoop that butt.
And that's also our producer Daniel Snipes' team. Actually, it was funny because after the Confidential, he even forgot we were playing forgot we were playing my team this week. I was like, well, you're playing us. He's like, oh yeah, we are. So as much as I like Danzel Snipes, this week you and I are kind of enemies. Like
right.
you though.
And we're playing the Giants, so I need to know if I'm talking to JB Ellis or not this weekend. I should text him and find out if we're talking.
Well, and also Steve Schwanda too. He's also a Giants fan.
We're gonna forget that because I like both of them a lot. But Steve doesn't really talk about the Giants that much.
That's true. He's more into the Cubs
and the basketball. Yeah,
and his Central Michigan University, which always confused me when I
need to message Steve and find out too. God, you know what, Jordan? Causing me headaches, Mister.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, both of them are really good guys. We love them to death. Of course, unfortunately, Steve has to work, so that's why he's not on our Cubs show anymore because of schedule change. So I wonder if he's going to come for our Iowa show. I haven't talked to him about that.
Steve? Oh, I don't know.
But then again, he has also kids. He has a daughter and a son. His son's playing football, so I really don't know what's going to happen with them.
Right. I don't know either. I'll find out though. No, you should find that out. I need to find out if we're talking on Sunday.
Exactly. But we'll talk about our NFL picks of the week. Every week, if you've listened to my podcast or even watched the Under Review show, I pick 5 games of the week that I find that are the most intriguing. And I think last week I went 3-2, so that's my overall record. And hopefully if I have, besides Jen, have more guests on, we'll do more picks to see how the guests do compared to me. But we'll start with, I guess, 2 of your favorite teams. And I'm saying that.
Actually, I don't mind one of those 2 teams. The other team I hate.
Exactly.
Abandoned passion.
It's the Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. And if you don't know, they're in the division of the Carolina Panthers if you don't pay attention to football.
Right. And by the way, it may surprise you guys who I don't like. It's the Saints. I really hate them. I don't mind the Bucs. And I never really have.
That's kind of...
The fans are much more respectful. The players are much more respectful. The Saints players...
You know, that surprises me just because, you know, I've always heard that, you know, Tampa Bay is, the New Orleans Saints fans are really happy because, you know, when you're in New Orleans. But that kind of reminds me of
the NFL. They're not happy.
That kind of reminds me of the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of people would think, I mean, I don't like the Las Vegas Raiders, but I don't mind their fans. I've been to games where I can sit and talk football with them. We could go on and on about the worst fans in the league, but let's go to this pick. Buccaneers versus Saints. Who do you have?
Bucks.
Unfortunately, I have the same thing. I just think if you look at the Buccaneers, what they did to Dallas, Tom Brady, I mean, I know he's 45, but look at his receivers. Chris Godwin.
Told you he wasn't retiring, just saying. Sorry.
Mike Evans. No, you're fine. Mike Evans, Julio Jones. Of course, you got Leonard Fournette. How do you stop the Tampa Bay offense? You have to figure out a way to get to Tom Brady. The Saints, though, I have won 7 of the last 8 matchups. So that defense of the Saints is still good, but I just don't see them having it this week. I have to go with Tampa Bay.
But there's been a quarterback change. And Jameis was not playing when they played last. And it's sad because I actually like Jameis, but I take Jameis as a QB any day of the week. He's talented. But that being said, I'll take the Bucs because I don't think the Saints have it. You've got a brand new head coach there, although he is in the family. Plus, I just really hate the Saints, so I'm always going to root against them.
Let's see, their coach is what? Dennis Allen for the Saints?
I think so.
He was the Broncos defensive coordinator a long time ago. A guy I had respect for him, but didn't really like him a whole lot. But that's all right. We're going to go with the next game, the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. I thought this was going to be, a matchup of 1-0 or 0-1 and 1-0, which it is, except for I thought it would be flip-flopped.
Sorry. That give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
You're good. I'll just go ahead and explain my pick.
I think
I have to go, honestly, with the San Francisco 49ers. Here's why. You look at that team. They're a lot better than people anticipate. You have Trey Lance there. You also, I know it's a new, quarterback, but Trey Lance is showing that he can be the new quarterback there. Plus, Seattle got lucky with, Broncos mistakes, and then Geno Smith getting a little hot there. I just think the luck's going to run out. You're going to San Francisco, a tough place to play. San Francisco wins this game.
I agree. I don't think the Seahawks will win. I think it'll be the 49ers. I think everybody's blowing too much smoke up Geno's butt, and I think this might be a come to reality. But is Trey Lance the great quarterback that everybody tells him to be?
That is a great question. We don't know.
I think Jimmy G will be starting before the end of the season.
I would agree with that, but it was interesting because when I was on Chris's show, there was a guy who came on that, his name is Stephen Box. I
know Stephen.
Yeah. And he was saying, and I was very interested in his answer because he said, and it intrigued me, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get traded before the trade deadline of the NFL. The reason why I questioned him about that is, why would they trade him? But he's just saying it has leverage. I mean, look at Dallas, for instance. I'm not saying he's going to Dallas, but Dallas has a hurt quarterback.
Doug's only out 6 to 8 weeks. He'll be back. It's just not Dallas's year again. Sorry.
Unfortunately for our Queen of Hoops, Megan Price, we love you, but yeah, it isn't Dallas's year. But he was just saying that's the only reason they kept him is to trade him. But he has a no trade clause, so he has to decide where he wants to go. So he has leverage that way. So the next game, it's a great rivalry if you're in the NFC North. The Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
Again, this was a game where I thought, or a matchup where thought that the records would be switched. I thought the Packers would be 1-0, and then the Bears would be 0-1, but it's not. It's the other way around.
I think it'll be I think it'll be the Packers.
I do too. It's funny.
Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, I don't like how his MO, but he's Aaron Rodgers, a great quarterback.
He is Aaron Rodgers, and the thing is, how can you not go against him? I mean, the Bears, again, they got lucky with the rainstorm. Will Justin Fields be better, or will he regress, or will that defense? I mean, there's no way they're going to keep this Green Bay Packers to 10 points. I don't see it.
No. The Bears aren't there yet. The Bears are not the Bears of the 80s.
No, they're not. So the next game, Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles, also Eric Wilson's team, who is our host for Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. I have to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think they're the better team. I know that Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings went off. They also have Adam Thielen. You're running into a better team in the Philadelphia Eagles than you played last week.
Are you though?
I mean, who did they played what? Who did Minnesota play last week?
Let me Google it real quick.
I feel like I should know this answer, but I'm like, I feel like they played a pretty good team. They actually played. Who did they play?
Okay, the Vikings.
They
played the Lions last week.
I have either way. They
that game is early. That back-to-back game is early because then they play them again next week, and the Lions almost brought it out. But here's the thing: I don't really trust Hurts. Sorry, Hurts is gonna prove it.
So you trust Kirk Cousins over Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. I trust Jalen Hurts in this game. This might be the only game we disagree on. I have the Eagles winning this game.
I have the Vikings. Cousins has something to play for because they've already announced there's been like 2 teams that have already said who they want. including the Seahawks next year.
So our final game, and honestly, this is a game where I look at the both quarterbacks, and to me, they're mirror images of each other. The Baltimore Ravens versus John Shear's team, the Miami Dolphins.
Sorry, John Shear. I got Lamar Jackson and his Ravens.
I completely agree. I just think Lamar Jackson is
Lamar's
a better.
going out this year.
I completely agree. He's on a contract. Well, he's on a contract year. He's already said no to it. Right. And he wants to show the Ravens that he's the better quarterback to show, I want to get paid Russell Wilson money. I want to get paid Patrick Mahomes money. That's the thing. So I agree. I completely agree. It's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. So that does it for our NFL picks of the week. And I know I'm going to have Jen on in either next week or in a couple of weeks. So why don't you tease what we want to talk about on that show?
So there has been a report that I've been trying to dig the internet for. A lot of it has been picked out, but basically, and Jordan, I just sent you an article that some political party affiliations, shall we say, do not want women playing sports at all, including girls. And I don't just do female pod, I love sports. So it's not just a girl thing. But when my husband actually was really hot and fired up and I was doing a podcast one night, he texted me this. He was like, "This pisses me off." And I was like, okay. And then I started reading about it. But yeah, they right now it's 2 schools. They apparently have a huge media conglomerate backing one of the schools, saying, and it's high schools in California that do not want to play each other because one of the teams has girls playing. So they're afraid they're going to hurt the girls. Well, the girls know this when they sign up to play football. Like, you're not teaching us anything we don't know. That being said, I think that's wrong. I don't think women can play in the NFL per se. There's an actual physical difference between men and women. But I think it's worse to tell women and girls that they aren't going to play you because that's just discriminatory. Title IX is investigating. The Department of Education is investigating this claim. Lawsuits have already been filed against the school that refuses to play. But we can definitely go into it a little more later on. But the big media conglomerate that's backing them has kind of sort of wiped the internet clear of this in a lot of ways. So the article that I did find, the Packeria, what does that mean?
I have no idea.
Oh, the Pack era. Oh, okay. They didn't know. Sorry, that took a minute.
You're okay.
Basically, what we will discuss. My husband's really good at finding stuff, so as I find it, I'll send it to you, Jordan.
That sounds good.
I mean, it's like Title IX's Department of Education's investigating. Lawsuits have been filed. It's kind of like Modern Family when Manny was trying to learn how to sword fight and he didn't want to fight the girl, and his mom put him aside and said, "You say how much you respect women, but you're showing her disrespect right now."
There's a lot of stories about this, not just what you found.
Not just here.
I mean, there's been a lot of wrestling stories. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. We'll do a good one on this.
Definitely.
We will.
But
I've been more stuff, but on this one in particular, so little.
Well, Jennifer, thank you for being on. You told people where you can find them on the Sideline Sports Network, yes. But where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Jenna Cheryl. You can follow me. You can find me on Reddit. I'm Jenna Cheryl as well. I don't just talk sports. I have a guilty pleasure as well. And if you follow me on Reddit, you're going to find out what it is. You can also find me on Facebook, and I'm going to be working with Jordan in the near future on setting up my YouTube channel. So
we'll get to that. Yeah.
And definitely. You can also find us at 3 Chicks on a Pod on Twitter.
Definitely definitely listen to Three Chicks in a Pod. I
Yeah,
listen to it. You guys do an amazing job. I know last week for me was a little better since my team had lost, but hopefully this week will be a little bit better.
But I muted Carrie for you. I know
that-
you two love each other off the field. It's just on the field.
Yeah, exactly. But thanks for watching Under Review here. I'm Jordan Long. We have a lot of great shows on the Sideline Sports Network. We covered a few of them. There's so many out there. Please watch them. And of course, we have our special confidential from Iowa as JB Ellis and Jacob Krishner will be there live, as you and I will be, just at our houses, but we'll still be live in Iowa. So please tune in to our special show at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, and that would be 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This has been a Sideline Sports production.